A construction is the accurate drawing of a geometric figure using only a ruler, a pair of compasses, and a sharp pencil. We say pair of compasses because it have like two. So that's why we call it a pair of compasses. It's the two parts, and you open it out to make your drawing, draw your arm lines, etc. Right? Now, note a protractor is usually not used unless stated. Right? So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to construct a line segment. Right? So what you do to construct a line segment, you first establish a point, be it A or whatever the question tells you to use. Then you're going to go to your ruler and you're going to open your compass to measure how long we want the line, right? And then you will place that compass, the sharp end is going to go on point A, and you're going to mark off the length with an arc, right? Then you'll draw a line from point A to the arc, and that will be a line segment, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a point, label it A. If the question said CD, you just label it CD, right? That's the only difference, right? Now, what we're going to do next. So I'm going to say it again. Get out your compass, get out your ruler, right? You're going to place the sharp end of the compass lining up with 0. Then, if your compass is positioned like this, open your compass so that it reaches 6 centimeters. That is what we are trying to do. We are trying to construct a line 6 centimeters long. Next, you're going to do exactly what the next step says to do. Place the sharp end on the point. You did that? And you're going to draw an arc on the other side so that we know from this point to that arc is 6 centimeters long. We good there? You must have this arc, eh? You must show this arc. Cool? It could be light, it could be dark, but you have to show this arc. No marks will be given if your arc is not shown. Okay? Then you come here, you don't even want to line up like 0 to test if it's 6. It's 6, right? You can just take a ruler and draw it normal. So you start here, boom, and you go straight to here, and we're going to establish where the line and the arc meets. Now you can even cross the line, huh? You can even cross the line. Doesn't matter. You just need to put a little dot here, and you label it as B. Everybody clear? Label it as B. So this here is my line segment AB. So next we are on to bisecting a line. What does bisecting mean? To bisect means to divide into 2 equal parts. So when I say bisect a line, it means like I want to divide the line into 2 equal parts, right? Step 1, draw a line segment. Whether this is AB, CD, whatever, draw your line segment first. Open compass to more than half of the length of AB with compass point on A. So you have your compass point on A, open it to more than half the length, right? With estimating where the half point is, draw an arc above and below that halfway point, right? So in other words, when you open out your compass, you're going to put an arc above, you're going to go underneath and put an arc below, estimating where you think the halfway point is, right? Now, why we put arcs is because the arcs kind of cater for error. So if you estimate a little to the right, because it's an arc, you'll catch it, right? Then, with the same compass width, do not adjust your compass. You're going to repeat the process with the compass point on B. Estimate where halfway point is, draw another arc above your halfway point, right? So establish points where the arcs intersect above and below and draw a line from one point to the next, right? So that line cuts through AB, which is the initial line segment, directly through the middle, right? That would be your midpoint M. Everybody good there? Let's work. So we're going to construct, or you can start to construct another line, please. Do another one, right? Separately underneath this, right? So construct a line segment AB with length 6 centimeters and bisected. That's what we're going to do now. Friend, we can move a little faster, right? So you put your compass on the 0 mark here on your ruler. Open it to 6 centimeters, right? Establish your point A. Let's establish A, right? A,
Good day, sir. Sorry for being late. I didn't know I had to join.
That's okay. Right? So you come in here now and you're going to draw an arc on the other side, right? Once you draw your arc, take your ruler, draw a point, well, a line, sorry, from this point here to the arc, right? Okay? The point B would be where the two, this is B, right? Where the two, the arc and the line intersect is where B would be located, right? So that's the food part. Now, in order to bisect this line, let me show you all what I mean when I say open your compass to a little more than half, right? So we're looking at the line, the space AB. Now, does this look like this a little more than halfway between A and B? No, you have to open it more. Here, around here, look like the halfway point. Everybody agrees? So you're going a little more than halfway. So about here. Go as close as possible to B, but kind of, let me say, in between the halfway point where you estimate it to be and B. Okay? Now, what you're going to do, you're going to draw an arc above where you estimate the halfway point to be. So the halfway point I estimate to be somewhere around here. I'm going to draw an arc above here. Okay? Just to kind of line up with the halfway point. Everybody good there? Now, the next thing is you have to draw the same arc under the line, right? Okay, so we come in here now. So we go in, boom, another arc. Everybody good there? All right? Then you do not adjust your compass and you come to this side now. Okay? You're going to repeat the same process. Draw one arc above where you estimate the halfway point to be and then below. Right? So you would realize that I have 2 points being established here. I have a point above here and I have a point below here. So what do? I'm going to take my ruler now, okay? And I'm going to measure, not measure, yeah, that's going to draw the line, right? You're going to draw a line from the top point to the bottom point, right? That line will be passing directly through the midpoint of the line. So this line that I'm going to draw here now bisects this line segment AB. So you see this point in the middle here? This point here would be my midpoint. We could label it capital M unless CXC wants you to label it something else. Right? How cool. So next we're going to construct a 60-degree angle, right? So the first thing you'll have to do if you want to construct any angle, you'll need to construct a line segment, right? Then after that, you open your compass to a little more than half with the compass point on A. Or it could be wherever you need the 60-degree angle. If you need the 60-degree angle by B, you put your sharp end on B or your compass point on B. Wherever you need the 60-degree angle, that's where you put your compass point. Draw an arc so that it creates a point where the line and arc meet, right? So what you need to do next, place a compass point where the line and arc meet and without adjusting it, right? Okay? Create another arc so that it intersects the first. And then you're going to simply draw a line from the initial point to where the line and the arc intersects, right? So let me show you all this. Saying it once again, right? You were given a line segment AB, right? They didn't tell us what the length of the line was. All you need to do is you place your sharp end here, you open your compass to a little more. So let me say halfway here, you go a little more than halfway, right? Then you draw an arc from here going straight up to a little more than where you estimate 60 degrees to be, right? So make sure you have that. Everybody good there? Then do not adjust your compass. Place this compass where the arc and the line meet. Okay? Place the compass where the arc and the line meet. Okay? And then you're going to draw another arc up here so that the two arcs intersect. Right? Draw another arc up here so that the two arcs So what you need to do now, line up a ruler with the point A, and where the two arcs intersect, draw a line coming through here. Boom. That would be a 60-degree angle, right? You all seen it there? This here would be 60 degrees, right? 60. You could take a compass and not compass. You could take a protractor and measure it if you want, but you don't need to. That is 60 degrees. Most important thing would be that you did not adjust your compass after you drew the initial arc, right? That is a 60-degree angle, right? So we're gonna bisect this angle one time, right? So obviously I had to draw the angle ABC. I just labeled this point up here C from the angle that we just drew, right? So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna place the compass on C and draw an arc around where half of the angle is, right? Okay, so you put in your compass point here and you're estimating where half of this angle is. You're going to make one arc, right? Then you repeat the same process. You put your compass point here and you're going to draw next arc around where half of the angle is. Make sure the two arcs intersect. Establish a point where the two arcs intersect. We'll call that point D, and draw a line from A to point D. That will bisect my angle, whichever angle it is. It could be 60 degree, 90 degree. That will bisect my angle. So trust the process, right? We go in. Sharp point. Well, on my note, I put sharp point up here first, right? So let me do what I did on my note, right? So I put the compass point here. This is where we established to be C, right? Up here is C, okay? So you put your sharp point there, and you're gonna estimate where you think halfway would be, right? Okay? So, oh my gosh. We're gonna draw an arc. I think the halfway point would be somewhere around here. You all agree? So watch it. You're drawing this, so boom. That's around where the halfway point would be. Okay? Then you're gonna put your compass point here, and you're gonna do the same thing up here. Alright? Boom. The two arcs must intersect. Okay? The two arcs must intersect. Establish this point as D. Okay? D. And then you're drawing a line from E straight to D. This would bisect my angle. Alright? So this line here cuts my angle into two equal not segments, but two equal angles, right? So down here would be 30, right? Here would be 30. And you can see it, it's clear. It's clear that the two angles are the same. And here would be 30. Boom. So constructing a 90-degree angle, we first need to construct a 60-degree angle first, right? Now, the only difference between a 60-degree angle and this 90-degree angle is I wanted to extend your initial arc, the first arc you draw, to around where 120 degrees would be, right? After drawing the second arc, so you're going to draw you drew your first arc, then you're going to draw a second arc in the same motion to create the 60-degree angle. And then you're going to put your sharp end or your compass point on that second, we call it the second point of intersection, right? You're going to create a third point of intersection. When you create that third point of intersection, we're going to draw another arc above where your 90-degree point would be. Okay? Repeat the process on the third point of intersection. Create a point of intersection above the 90-degree, where the 90-degree angle would be, and then you just join. You join the initial point to the 90-degree angle point. Okay? So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to draw a 60-degree. Well, you're not drawing the 60-degree angle, eh? You're drawing the arcs that you would have used to draw a 60-degree angle. So however your line is, I want you to open your compass so that it is a little way beyond the halfway point, right? Then you're going to draw your arc. You're starting here and you're coming. So around here would be 60, right? We go into where 120 is. Boom. We coming all the way down here. I think I need to redraw this. Hold on. Right, so this is my AB. I opened my compass a little more than where the halfway point is at. Around here is halfway. So here is good, right? You draw an arc going straight up to around here would be 60. You're coming to around where 120 is. You're past 90. You could cross where 120 is, but don't reach 180, right? So this arc here is like probably about, it's more than 120. So with the same measure now, you're going to come at your first point of intersection, which is here. You go by your first point of intersection. So make this initial arc here. Make this arc here, boom. That arc is 60 degrees. Make sure you have. So I constructed one more arc here. This is the third point of intersection, right? This arc here would be 120 degrees. So if they ever ask you to do 120 degrees, you come from A here, you bust through this point of intersection. That will be 120 degrees, right? Now, in order to do our 90-degree angle, you're going to gauge around where the 90-degree point would be. That would be somewhere like right here. And that's around 90. So let's draw an arc around this. So draw an arc there. Boom. Right? And then you repeat the same process with your sharp end here. Boom. That would be where my two arcs intersect. Right? So I'm going to establish another point here, which will be my fourth point of intersection. And I just join A to this point. That will be my 90-degree angle, right? So let's proceed to do that. Okay. Boom, bang.
So I have to redo mine because I don't have enough space on my page.
Me too. I started off where I foresee that I wasn't going to have enough space. Right?
For me, I didn't reach the 120. I could have only reached 111.
No problem. Just do it over, right? So y'all see how perfect that 90-degree angle is? This here would be 90 degrees. Boom. 90 degrees. So, using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct triangle PQR with PQ being 5 centimeters, PQR being 60 degrees, and QPR being 90 degrees, right? Measure and state the length of PR and the measure of angle PRQ. But before we can measure and state those things, we have to draw the triangle first. So let me work. So we're going to open this to 5 centimeters, right? 5. Sing wicked boy. Hey, we're running that, right? 5 centimeters. Everybody good there? Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw our arc here. Right? And I want you to establish your point here, right? So establish your point. Here, boom. So that point would have been the initial. So I established my point P, and I'm going to draw my arc over here so that I can draw my line, right? So that there will be P to the arc, which will measure 5 centimeters. Now I'm going to draw my line. Okay? So we're going from here to here. Boom. Right? Make sure you all have this, right? Okay? So establish this point here as Q. Bang. Right? So this is where it gets a little sticky now, right? What did they say to do? They said using a pencil and a pair of compasses, well, a ruler also, construct triangle PQR with PQ being 5 centimeters. We did that, right? But they said P to Q to R is 60 degrees. Where would P to Q to R be? Would it be in this corner or would it be in this corner? P to Q to wherever R is. So I need to construct a 60-degree angle in this corner here where Q is, right? I'm going to label here as 5 centimeters, right? 5 centimeters. So I'm going to get my compass. Put your sharp point here, right? On Q. Open your compass to a little more than the halfway point, which will be around here. Draw an arc. You're going up to around where you gauge 60 degrees to be. So I reached by 90, but that's okay. All right. 60 degrees, we're gonna put without adjusting this compass, we're gonna put this point here. Right. Let me make sure on it. Right. Boom. And I'm gonna draw another arc up here. Bang. Right. That would be my 60-degree angle, right? Now we don't know how long this line is going to be, so I'm just going to draw a line, right? Okay, so I'm going to come here and I'm just going to draw a line going up. You don't need to stop, just go up. Look in there. Right. So we're going up. Bang. So don't stop. Let's go up, right? Make sure you're crossing around where 90 degrees will be because the next angle is going to be 90 degrees, right? So this is going to be 60 degrees, proper thing, right? Let me write it in red. This here is going to be 60 degrees, right? No compass, not no compass, no protractor must be used here. Let's go to the next point. Next we have Q to P to R is 90 degrees, right? Q to P to wherever R is would be 90 degrees. So you need to construct a 90-degree angle here. This is where it could get a little confusing because there's so many different things happening here. I'm going to do this construction in red, right? So I'm putting my sharp point here. I'm going to draw an arc. Remember I told you you're starting here. You're going up. So around here would be 60 degrees, past 60 degrees. You're going up to around where 120 is. So we're reaching like here. Everybody cool there? That will be around your 120 mark there. So you're coming here now. Put your compass here. Boom. And then you're going to put your 60-degree arc. This is your 60-degree arc. Right? Bang. You're coming. Do not adjust your compass, please. You're coming here now. This would be my 120-degree arc. Right? Now this arc, you could actually draw this arc. And it's either two things. You could just extend it to around where 90 degrees would be. So watch it. I just drew this arc and extended it to around where 90 degrees would be. I know 90 degrees coming up somewhere here. So I just extended it to around where 90 degrees would be. Right? And then I'm going to put this sharp point here or this compass point here. And I'm going to draw an arc so that that's the arc we just drew and this arc intersect. This here would be my 90-degree point of intersection here from P coming up here. So I'm going to draw the line in red so that you'll get an idea of the stuff that is going on here, right? So we go in. Boom.
Simply this line with
Uh-huh.
we are going to
Alright, that's on. You ask now, that's right. So that's right. That is my 90-degree angle. Right? What was this point up here supposed to be again? It's PQR, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So this is how beautiful my triangle is going to look. So for the part 2 of the question, they said to measure and state the length of PR, which is this length here, and they also want you to measure the angle P to R to Q. Now we know what this angle will be, but they want us to measure it, right? So we go in here now. Let's do this first, right? Okay. Oh, hey. So when I take my ruler and measure RP, I am getting 8.5, exactly 8.5. Look, Jonathan said you get 8.8. So your 8.8 is just probably a variation, but you get 9 proper.
I get 9.2.
Ooh, let me check yours. So in order to measure the angle P to R to Q, you need to turn your compass this way. You need to put the 0 point on this dot here exactly, right? So my point is actually down here, right? It's not here. I was measuring it as here, but my point is here. So boom. So I get exactly 30. Are you all getting exactly 30? So it's exactly 30 degrees, right? They just want us to measure it. So the answer here would be, well, we have two answers. I'm going with 8.5 for here because that's what I got. I got exactly 8.5 centimeters. And down here, it would be 30 degrees, right? So, number 2, using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct accurately the square EFGH, where EF is 6 centimeters, right? So, let me deal with part 1 first, right? And then we'll deal with part 2. So, what's the first thing we need to do here? Let me hear you all. What's the first thing we're doing? We constructing, not drawing, brother. We constructing the line. Well, a line measuring how much centimeters? So let's do that. Come on, everybody. So once again, you're going to put your compass on your ruler, open your compass to 6 centimeters. On this app, I actually have the measure of 6 centimeters. So when I open this, I already know it's 6 centimeters here, right? And then you must draw an arc here to indicate where 6 centimeters is. Okay? If CXC does not see this arc, you are wrong. Label it EF. Austin, put on that phone. I must now construct two right angles in either side. So I'm doing this one in green. So I go in boom, two right angles, one in this corner, right? So you come in here now, put your sharp end here, right? Make an arc here. How much degrees this is, by the way?
So I have to go all the way so
Yeah, you go all the way around because you want to construct. How much degrees this is? A line from E coming through here will be how much degrees? 60, proper. That is 60. 60 plus 60 will be how much? Right, so here's 120 degrees if they ever ask us to construct that, right? Now, 90 degrees, you're kind of estimating when 90 degrees would be above E, right? And then you're coming on this other side here, and you are drawing another arc so that the two arcs intersect, right? That would be 90 degrees there, right? Okay? Everybody good? You know what we should have done? When I had my point here, right? You know what I should have done when I had my point here? Let me go back in blue ink. Right? I'm going back in blue ink because you have to. What's something, eh? I'm going back in blue ink. So watch. I needed to put a construction line up here to indicate where the 6 centimeter line would stop. Cool? Okay, remember, we're going to draw a 6 centimeter line coming up here now. So I could have done it on this side. I draw the 6 centimeter line here, and then I draw it here. But I needed to construct my 90-degree arcs above there so I know where I'm going, right? So let's go. You come in here now. Boom to the bang. Right, let me just straighten up this thing here. Right. So we coming from E, and we lining up, right? You're lining up with our 90-degree arcs above here. The point that I made when the two arcs intersect, Aiden, Austin, right?
So how you draw the blue line? How you draw the blue line, or is it just a straight line that you just draw?
No, when I made the arc here, when
No,
I,
no, that blue line, that blue line. The
which line? What I drawing here?
yeah,
I line
the
up
one that
E.
you said
You say so. Say the difference when you say when you mean arc,
is
say
straight.
arc. When you mean arc, say arc. When you mean line, say line. So are you talking about this arc? Are you talking about this arc here?
Yeah, that
Right. So when I drew my 6 centimeter arc here, initially when I made this, I just estimated when 90 degrees would be. I know 90 degrees would be coming up somewhere around here, so I drew another arc here one time. Cool?
one.
Right? Proper. So this here is E, F, G, H. So this will actually be H, eh? That's the last one. Right? Because they're going in order. It's E to F to G to H. So we're going to do G now. Lock in. G. Let me do this one in red. Alright, we're doing this bad boy in red. Somebody mic on.
But I'm mine.
Alright, so we're going in red now. You're starting here.
Make it smaller.
Huh? Yeah, I'm making it smaller. You could do it on the line itself, you know, but I rather make it a little smaller just so it looks a little neater. Alright? So you're going straight up to around where 120 would be, but I told you all to surpass the 120, go close to 180, around there. Then you're coming with your sharpen where the red line and the initial line, well, the red arc and the initial line intersect. Right, Mikey, there you go.
Because other stuff in my eye.
Why, boy?
Before I couldn't. Before so good, no, I can't even join line to walk.
Lord, try to center it at the base, right? So watch, we come in here now. How much degrees this is here? This arc I join here would be how much degrees? Coming from F going through there would be how much degrees? No, not 60. 60 would be this arc. Right? Where these two arcs intersect would be 60. So how much is going to be? 60 plus 60 is how much? 120, right? So we coming above here to gauge where our 90-degree arc would be. So we do one there. We're going to do our next one. Make sure the two arcs intersect. But you know what I don't have here now, my children? I don't have an arc to indicate where 6 centimeters would stop. Right? So what can I do? I come here. Right? Open my compass to 6 centimeters. Right? Look, 6 centimeters right there. And I'm going to draw, I'll do this in blue. So I want you all to observe all the different colors, right? So put in a blue arc here. This is where 6 centimeters would stop. Right? And we're going to draw a line now from here. Boom. So we come in here. Lining up F with this point of intersection up there. And we stop in here, right? Boom. Alright? Come Mikey, guess the drawing. If you don't try, the only way to fail is if you truly fail is if you don't try, you know. So this is G, right? So to complete this square, what can I do now to complete this square? Just connect G and H and you're done. Connect G and H and you're done. Right? So like connect the people G and the people H, eh? So all these bad boys here will be 6 centimeters. 6 centimeters. And then these bad boys here would be 90 degrees. All will be 90 degrees because it is a square. So I know I'll need some time with this, eh? So next they want us to measure and state in centimeters the length of diagonal F to H. So what are you doing here now? F to H is what we're trying to measure, okay? So bring your ruler and let me measure the people question, right? Measure that time all again.
8.1.
8.1.
I get 8.7.
8.7, 8.1. Let me see what I get in. Mine's looking like 8.5.
I got 8.5.
Yeah, I get exactly 8.5.
Shan got 8.5.
So here what we taking. So FH would be equal to 8.5 centimeters. And I'm going to put a cut out. So once again, using a pair of compasses and a pencil, construct a triangle CDE in which DE is 10 centimeters, DC is 8, and CDE is 45 degrees. Question, which one of these letters would the angle be located at? Huh? D, the middle letter, right? So let me work. We go down, construct DE, which is 10 centimeters, right? The manual page here. So we're going with DE. All please draw it at the bottom of the page, eh? Right? So let me get DE. Construct the people question, eh? Do not draw the people's question. Construct it, please. So DE, we put in D first. And we go into 10 centimeters. Come, Michael, let me go. 10. Measure your compass on your ruler and make your arc. 10 cm.
What was the first letter?
It was DE. We're doing D to E now. Right? 10 centimeters. We go in here now. Boom. Right? This is E. Everybody's supposed to have that nicely done there. This is E. Right? Now, let me see who thinking. They wanted us to do DC, right? In such a way that when we do from D to C, right? The angle E to D, well, C to D to E is 45 degrees. So watch it here. C, wherever C is, to D to E is 45 degrees. But how we going to construct that 45-degree angle, boy? Let me see you thinking. All morning we have been doing 90-degree angles, right? So I come in here, boom. I open this a little more than halfway or a little less than the full length. So like around here. And let we hit 90 degrees, right? I do it in red. So we go in, boom. Come up here. Kind of almost reach the full 180 degrees. Right, proper. And then we come in here now. Yeah, bro. So this would be 60 degrees here. And then you put your sharp point on where the two arcs intersect. And you're going to make, oh, good. What you going on with me now? I had to go above this to construct 90 degrees. You know, to construct 90 degrees, I'm going to show you a little trick. I could actually gauge a little more than half here now. Watch it. So in between here will be 90, right? So a little more than half, you could do this as a trick. So you come in here now, boom. So let me put one arc here. And with the same length that I used to make that arc, you have to come here now and make another arc. The two arcs must intersect, right? So this is an option, right? When you reach here, you make the compass a little smaller. Make sure it have to be more than halfway between where the 90-degree angle will be located, right? It must be more than halfway between. And I could construct, well, let's draw a line. I'm going to draw a line. But drawing this line in red because it would not be part of my triangle, right? So I'm going to draw this in red. Come, we go and bisect this line, brother. We are going to bisect, not the line, the angle. Right? So this is 90 here. Right. So watch. I'm going to draw straight up to this, right? A little off there, but we working now. Right? So there you go. We need to bisect this 90-degree angle, right? How do I bisect this 90-degree angle? Let me show you all what we could do. You could take your compass, right? To bisect, you take your compass and you could open it to a little more then halfway, where you think 45 will be? 45 will be like somewhere around here, right? So opening your compass a little more than where you think 45 would be, okay? And you're going to make, let me put this in blue because we're back to what we need. So I put in this in blue, you make one arc there, and then you're coming down here now. And I want to show you all something. What something? You all see how this arc not intersecting? Watch. When I draw the two arcs here, they're not intersecting, right? So you know what I need to do? I need to go back up here, right? And make it longer. And make it longer. Proper, right? Make sure that the two arcs intersect, right? Then you pull your ruler. How long they said DC was supposed to be? 8? We will just confirm it. Anybody wrote down what DC is supposed to be? Because this is just my line up here. I need to know.
8 centimeters.
Right. So here what? I need to construct that too, eh? I put in this there. I need to construct that 8 centimeters, right? Let me just confirm it. 8 centimeters, correct, right? So watch it. Construct your 8 centimeters, please. I could open mine here to 8 centimeters, but you will have to measure it on your ruler. 8 centimeters. Oh God. Yeah, that's a day. That's a day. It ain't going on the 8, but we work in this. Wait now. Look, this line was exactly 8 centimeters. And I just opened up just so you know. So I'm going to put a slash here because this is where I stop. This is where 8 centimeters would be. Cool? So watch it now. I come in with my ruler. Alright? And I'm going and draw this line here now. Boom. I'm stopping by this first blue line here. Because that is 8 centimeters. So we starting here. Boom. Coming up to the line. Bang. Alright? Here would be half of 90, which is 45 degrees. Here would be C. And let's complete the people triangle. Because it's a triangle they ask us to draw. We'll have to stop here. We will have to stop here. Did they ask us? I'm guessing they might probably ask us to measure something and measure something and. Alright, let me complete this.
So mine will look on the
Right. How much here was? Here was 8 centimeters. Construct a triangle CDE in which DE is 10 centimeters. We already did this on my construction app. DC is 8 centimeters. DC is there, 8 centimeters. And CDE was 45 degrees. Now, this was a lot bigger, right? But I just made it smaller for the purpose of putting it on Microsoft Word here, right? So, just reiterating what we did here. I drew the 10 centimeter line first. You remember that from last week. Then I proceeded to do the 90-degree angle, right? I drew an arc, follow my arrow, right? I drew this arc, boom. Then I put my sharpen here. I made this arc, boom. I made another arc, boom. A line coming from here. We are just asking a general question. A line coming from here, going through this point would be how much degrees? Let me see, remember. 120. Big up yourself. Who said that? Very good. 120, right? So if I have a line coming from D going through here, it will be 120. A line coming from here going through this one will be how much? How much? 60. Leo, say good afternoon. Right? 60. Everybody good there? Okay. So I proceeded to put my sharpen here, make an arc here, put my sharpen here, make another arc here. I drew a line from D coming up to this point that I made. That would be 90 degrees, right? Between 60 degrees and 120 degrees is 90 degrees, right? That's what I did there. Then I proceeded to bisect the 90-degree angle, right? How did I do that? I put my sharpen here, made an arc with the same width of my compass. I put my sharpen here, made another arc, lined up my ruler between here, and then I measured 8 centimeters. I stopped at the 8 centimeter mark. Everybody good there? I then proceeded to label here as C, and I completed my triangle. D to C, well, C to D to E. Right? Everybody good there? Cool? Right. Construct a line CF perpendicular to DE such that F lies on DE, right? So they want us to draw a line from here, coming down here, that is 90 degrees, right? So oh my gosh, I don't remember that. I gotta copy this. Copy. Right, we go in here. So that's scale earlier. That's bearings. That's what we do next in the Sunday class, eh? This is what we do next in the Sunday class, eh? Bearings. So soldier up for that, Sunday people. Well, everybody's supposed to be in Sunday class. Right? Everybody. So continuing from last day, they asked us in part B to construct a line CF perpendicular to DE such that F lies on DE. So I'm coming back here. So they want a line perpendicular. What does the word perpendicular mean? You all know? So two lines, write a note. Two lines are perpendicular when they meet at now when they form a 90-degree angle. I want to use the word form instead. Go ahead, bro.
I could take off my camera.
When they form a 90-degree angle at their point of intersection. Right? Boom. So two lines are perpendicular when they form a 90-degree angle where they meet, right? Their point of intersection is where they meet, right? So I need to construct a 90-degree angle from here coming down here now. So I'm going to show you all how to do that, right? So this is basically how you're going to construct a 90-degree angle from a point. So put your sharp end on the point that you're coming from. Boom. Make sure your sharp end is on the point where we're coming from. We're coming from C and we're going down here. Right? Everybody good there? So I want you to extend your compass so that when you draw an arc on this line DE, you could have two clear points on this arc. Where the arc and line would meet, you must be able to have two clear points. I'm going to do this in a different color. Let me go in green. So we come in here now. I'm starting here. I must be able to have two clear points of intersection. Let me show you all what I mean. I must be able to establish a point here. And I must be able to establish a point here. Everybody good there? Cool? You must. So in other words, what's something? In other words, if I do this, right? If I do this, say I open it too much, and I can't get any points on the arc, you have to make that compass smaller. Cool, Aiden? So you're going to bring your sharp end here now. Boom. Bring your sharp end there now. Estimate where halfway between these 2 points would be now. Estimate where halfway is and open it a little beyond halfway. Or you could just join the 2 points. You could put one sharp end there and one sharp end on the next point. Anyhow you want to do it. But this might be a little too big. You're going a little too big. That's why I say a little more than halfway. So we're going about here. A little more than halfway, right? So you could put the arcs either below here. You could put an arc here. Or you could also put on the inside here. Anywhere you want to put it. Right? If you want to put it underneath or above, don't matter. Why I will put it above is because down here I have some things written. So I will do it above here, right? And again, this thing to erase at all, boy. My eraser ain't working, boy. My eraser.
So you sure that $23 worth it all?
Boy, that $20 killing me right now. My reason ain't working. Alright, I'm coming back here. I draw my arc above here. Alright, boom. One arc. Alright, that's the one arc there. And then I come in here, same measure, do not adjust your compass, please. Put your other end here and boom. Make another arc. The two arcs must intersect. Now, these things you would only remember with practice. If you do not practice these things, you would not be able to remember it. Sing, you do this? Right? So watch it now. You come in here with your ruler, boom. Come here with a ruler, line up C, and the point that we just made, boom, and you're going to draw a line from C, coming through that point to meet this line, right? Where that line meets DE, let's see what the letter they said to use. Perpendicular such that to D such that F lies on DE. So it's F we just established here. This will be F. And F is a right angle triangle. Really good on it. I think I know what wrong. Right. No, still no. You know what going on with this thing now? F. I want to put it underneath here. Or I put here. Right angles on both sides, right? Boom. Everybody good there? Messaging me here like mad. Right. So we did part B. Part C is using a protractor measure and state the size of DCE. D to C to E would be this angle up here. There you go. D to C to E would be this bad boy up here. Here. So let me take a protractor and let me get cracking. So we come in here, boom. Put the cross at the bottom of your protractor here and line up the baseline with this line here, the 8 centimeter line. Alright? Bro, where your protractor? So once you line up your protractor, start from 0 and you're coming up. Mine's going to like 84, 83, 84, 83, 84. What you again?
Same side, 84.
I get 84 exact.
83.
83, we running with 83. Figure 83 for 83 for yours. Alright? So my DCE would be equal to 84 degrees. Exactly. So the question is saying using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, meaning that if you use a protractor at any point, CXC will know because they will see that they did not put any of their arcs to draw these things. If you use a protractor, you will not get your mark, right? So let's go. Construct triangle ABC where AB is 9 centimeters, ABC is 90 degrees, and BC is 6 centimeters, right? This is food. Okay? Which one we start with? And you all start with AB, which is 9 centimeters. Did you all start with that? Let me start with that. There we go. Right? Follow with me, Emma Cloud. Watch it. We're going right here. Shall I go here now? Let me go on a new page. Boom. Right. So, McLeod, this is what you're doing. I should show this. Let me show her here. Hold on. Pause it. Let's establish the point A here, right? So I'll have A. Oh my God, I don't want that color. Right? So A, boom, right? Make sure you establish your point A. Place your sharp end on A, and you're going to make an arc on this side, which will be 9 centimeters long. How do you draw the 9 centimeter line? You proceed to take your ruler, draw a line from A straight to the arc that you just drew. Boom. Establish a stopping at the arc here, but you don't necessarily have to, right? So I'm putting a point here and I'm establishing this point as B. All I want to put in the 9 centimeters one time, you could. Right? Boom, bang. That is step 1, that's ground 0, right? Now, going back to the question, A to B to C is 90 degrees. Now, this is very important because you know the mistake you could make here? You could come and put your right angle on A. Is my right angle supposed to be on A, or is my angle supposed to be located by the middle letter?
The middle, sir.
Proper.
Middle letter.
Proper. So, I am constructing my right angle in this corner, Eden. This corner. Right? So, I'm going to put my sharp end here now. Right? So, I done hear people balling. Oh, that means that they do the wrong thing, right? So, you put your sharp end on B. On B. You did that, sister? You put on B? No? We do it quick. We do it quick on our next page. That's thing if you're using a page, right? So open your compass to a little more than half. Now this circle here is where my compass will drop. So when I say this is around halfway here, so a little more than half, we go to a little more than that. Boom. Alright? So I'm going to put an arc here. You're starting from here and we're going up to a little more than where 120 degrees would be. Where you estimate 120 degrees would be. Right? So I estimate 120 degrees would be around here. Stop here, right, Evelyn? Boom. That's the first thing I want you all to do. Mr. Micah Alexander. You doing my work, brother man?
Yes, sir.
You looking like you on a couch. Are you writing on that couch?
Yes, sir.
I want you to send me a picture of your work when you're done here. I'm very serious. Let me go. Do not adjust, my brothers and sisters, do not adjust your compass after you make this arc. You're going to take your sharp end, place it here. Right? Place your sharp end there. Do that, Abraham brothers. Right? Place your sharp end here. Then you're going to make a next arc so that that arc cuts the first arc. Y'all seen it there? How much degrees is that? Let me hear you. How much degrees is that? How much degrees is that? Right? Let me go. We come in here now. Put your sharp end here. Where the 60-degree angle line would have been. Right? So you make another arc. 60 plus 60 is how much? That if I draw a line from B going through that point now, that will be 120 degrees, right? But we're not interested in that, right? So let me go. Now, the thing is, when you have your compass to this length already, you can just gauge above here and just put a mark up here one time, you know. Or you know I see a child used to do long time so that they wouldn't forget it. When they draw this final arc here, them going up one time. This is what the child used to do. They used to go up one time. Say, sir, this is my process. That's what I used to do. So some of the things you'll have to find little processes. He used to come, start the arc here, and go straight up. And then he would come on this last point here now, boom. And then just draw a little arc, another arc, so that he knows where his 90-degree line is. I don't really draw the full arc. I will put a slash here, an arc here, and then put another arc up here. Cool? But you can't do this. Everybody good there? So from B, lining up with this point would be 90 degrees. But how much centimeters did they say this line must be? 6 centimeters, so short. So we go down and draw 6 centimeters. Somebody have a question? I think a hand gone up. Talk to me, Abraham. Abraham, talk to me.
Sir, I have a question. In the exam, like by B, when you make the arc to go up, guide to 60 degrees, will you lose marks if you like draw the full arc and
No.
just
No, you wouldn't. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like if you do the same thing like what I was just saying. Like if you put a slash here, then our next slash here, some people are able to gauge it. So if you could gauge where 60 degrees is here, you could put a slash, an arc here, then just put another arc here, and another arc here. You would not lose marks, right, Abraham?
thanks, sir.
Right. Measure 6 now, please and thanks. Measure 6. Oh, let's show this is 6, eh? Right, let me go. We start in here. Boom, boom, bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Stop in here. What is this? See? Let's go. Let us go. Somebody waiting to come in there, but I just want to finish. See. Let me finish the oh, I was going to finish. I'm going to finish here. Will you finish the triangle? Anybody remember the next part of the question asked? I feel it's to measure something.
So it says B and C have to be 6 centimeters. In question.
B and C is 6. Oh, yeah. I think I'm a little off for this line, but we more or less close.
How to measure and see the size of angle BAC?
BAC. You see how I draw this line? I'm going to draw over this line. I hope let's see what's going on here. Oh, let's see how I draw that line. What should that line drop? That would just cause you to get little deviations in your answers. So let me draw that a little better. I'm gonna draw it more on the line. So you'll get little variations. Right, we go walk this here. Right, boom. So there we go. So it's excitement. Let me go. Measure and state the angle BAC. B to A to C would be what? Would BAC be up here or down here? Would BAC be up here or down here? Up there is BAC.
No, don't.
Thank you, down. BCA is up or ACB, right? Let me just make sure. Yes, there's BAC. BAC is here. Pull out all the protractor. Boom. Tell me all again. I get 30. How much? I get 35. 33, yeah.
I get 35 exact.
I get 35 exact. I think it could be nah. Here what is? Mine says 34. Yeah, I get 34. Let me work with 34, right? So I'm gonna put that here. 33, put what you get. I get 34.
You gotta find the angle, sir.
Yeah, the measure. I get in 34 degrees, right?
I get 34.
Right. Put what
Yes,
you
I'm
got.
double checking. Till I get 34, so when I double check
34. Me too. I had my protractor a little too in.
So I get 25.
Now, on the diagram, show the point D such that A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. So we come back here. So we have two joints here now. We are bad. I'm going up here. Oi. Right. So A to B, C and D. So I guess in D supposed to be somewhere out here. If it's a parallelogram let's run so. So here what needs to happen here. Right, I think better use this one. So here what needs to happen here. We need to draw this was how much? 34. Right, that's it's a little height to draw this because we cannot construct a 34-degree angle, right? To come off here, I cannot do that. So you know what we could do? If we draw or if we construct a 90-degree angle up here, visualize it. If I if I construct a 90-degree angle up here, once this is a parallelogram, right? What was the length of this line? This line was what? The initial line. 9 centimeters. That would mean that this line up here would be 9 centimeters, right? Because it's a parallelogram. And then once I draw a 9 centimeter line here, I can simply just join D to B. So we're going to construct a 9 centimeter line here that measures 90 degrees above here, right? So this is where you had to understand this thing real good. You have to gosh boy, my own go be kinda tight here because what's going on? I go and draw this in reverse, right? So I have to open so open this a little more than half of this line that we on here. This line. Draw your arc. You're drawing your arc coming this way. So this is boom. Let me do this in red. So you come in here. Boom. Start here. You're going all the way around. So around here would be 90. Okay? So you're going until you reach like 120, which should be somewhere up here. Let me scroll up. Right, around there should be 120, right? Lift your compass, place the sharp end here, boom. Make another arc here, bang. That arc would be how much degrees? How much degrees this is here? 60. So from this point, coming to that arc that I just drew would be 60 degrees. Lift your sharp end, place it here. That would be 120 degrees here, boom. And then you're going to make an arc around where 90 degrees is. 90 degrees is around here. Because remember, you're trying to get 90 degrees coming off this point. Right? Lift your sharp end, put it here, boom. 90 degrees lines up with this. Right? So y'all seen it? So coming from here to here would be 90 degrees. And this line would be 9 centimeters. So we'll draw the line. Right? 9 centimeters. Good. I almost make it by. Watch my own stopping. So there you go. I put this line in red too. That's to show is an extension of the original question. So now even though I stop here, when you're drawing your line, put your construction line. It's just a little cheat code here. So you're opening this to 9 centimeters and you're putting your arc. Hey. Right. So I put in an arc here to indicate how I constructed the 9 centimeter line, right? 9 centimeter line. Boom. So we have our 9 centimeter line quite out here would be D. This will be D. Right? Boom. And then I simply take a ruler now and join D to B. Make sure you're catching it, you know. Yeah, do it over, no problem. Yeah, because you don't have space. Yeah, I almost didn't have space. Good thing I draw the second one underneath here.
I have space.
You have space?
No, sir.
Well,
No.
you might have to draw it over, bro.
Space for both of them. Because I had to draw them twice.
Well, let's draw it over, bro. There you go.
So I'm going to cheat code. I'm going to use the line. I'm going to use the page and count it.
Alright, no problem. Well, let's see the parallelogram now. Boom. Bang. These two lines are parallel. And then this line is parallel to this line. How did I achieve this? I constructed a 90-degree angle up here. Measured it to be, because here would be 9 centimeters. Also, it's a parallelogram. So these two lines would be equal. And this line would be equal to this line. Everybody good there? That's real skills. Using a ruler, a pair of compasses, and a pencil, construct a triangle PQR in which PQ is equal to 8 centimeters, PR is equal to 6 centimeters, and angle P is equal to 60 degrees, right? So we're starting with 8, right? Let me get a new page here, boom. So we're starting with 8 centimeters, right? Actually, all right. So we go in here. Let's put, what was AB? PK? PQ. Right, so I started with P. I mentioned how much the line was, the first line? 8. So I put this here. Right, very good. 8 centimeters is coming on. Right, 8 centimeters. Put my arc, boom. Draw my line. Bang. Q on this side, right? Q.
Yeah, Q.
Right. Next, PR is 6 centimeters and the angle P, meaning the angle at the point P is 60 degrees, right? So let's construct a 60-degree angle at the point P, which is probably the easiest angle in the world, right? Put your sharp end here. Open your compass a little more than half. So we're looking at here. So you're making an arc down here. You could either do two things, either you go up with it, or you could gauge where 60 degrees is, right? 60 degrees are around somewhere here. So you come with your sharp end now. Ooh, you see how my thing shift there? Right, you come with your sharp end now, put it here, and then you make it now. Watch something. You'll see how my arm barely touch it, right? You'll see that, right? I run with that still. Okay, I run with that because I get it across, so that's where my point is. So I'm coming here now. How long they say this line going to be? 6 centimeters. Peter, that line will be Peter R. Right? So Peter R is 6 centimeters. Now I must get it to go through my starting here at 0. What should I put 0? Like it's exactly 6, like a little more. So boom, bang, right. A little beyond the point that I just established is 6 centimeters. So I come in here, boom, bang, bang, bang. And I'm stopping right here. Bang. That's 6 centimeters. I hope you all seen it. 6 centimeters stops right there. I'm gonna put this here. And this is R. Okay? Everybody good there? Let me label some stuff now. Here's 6 centimeters. And what here was? And what else did they say to do? Oh, we know here's 60. Now it's a triangle here to construct. So let's complete our triangle, right? So I'm coming here now. Right? Boom. To that point up there. Khaleesi again, true? Right, so boom. This way you get here, Nia. Right, so let me complete this triangle. You'll see that they are completing the triangle here. Bang. Bang. Do not erase none of the construction lines, even though they overlapping like this. Do not erase anything, right? So we go in. The line segment RX, which is perpendicular to PQ and meets the point P, well, meets PQ at X. So let me see where PQ is. So coming from R and meeting PQ at X, I'm going to do this one in green, right? It's just like one we just did. You come in here, put your sharpen on R, right? I told you all to draw an arc so that two points where my arc will cut this line, that X is going on. X is on this line, right? I must be able to establish 2 points on this line. So the points would be here and here. So what do I do now? I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to draw. So halfway between that arc will be around here. So let me open it a little more than halfway. Boom. You're going to draw an arc. Drop it right underneath the point R. That's one. Come on this side. Boom. By the next point. Sharp end on this point. Make sure that the two arcs intersect. Boom. And now I'm going to draw my line, which is P to X. P to X. Right? Ooh. P to X. Right? There we go. 90 degrees. So exactly 90, boy. So we coming down here. Boom. So this is X here. Everybody agrees? 90 degrees because they meet. They said that they are perpendicular, right? Which meaning that they meet at 90-degree angles, right? Well, they form 90-degree angles when they meet. Measure and say the size of angle QRX. So everybody should more than likely be on the same page. All again. Q to R to X. Ooh, so is this angle up here we looking at? So that angle is bad boy now. Q to R to X. What again? Say that again?
Accent, I'm using accent, sir.
Say that again, bro. I'm still in here, clear. It crack up a little bit.
I mute by accident, sir.
Alright, no problem. 72 against 74. What again? Online, what again?
72, sir.
So give me a second, still trying it.
I get 74. I go in my 74 because that's what I'm getting. I think it could be. Yeah.
I get 71.
I get 74. But go with what you all have now. I am getting 74. Somebody say 73. I get 74, right? So I go and put this here as 74. Right? 74 degrees. And I'm going to cut the construction and put it 73, yeah. We're working all that. I feel all the 73 more or less correct. And probably my 74 a little off, but we will have a range of answers here for this question, right? Peace. Right, boom. So we good here.
So how you get them two green and
Using a ruler, pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct triangle PQR with PQ equal to 8, PQR equal to 60, and QPR equals to 45 degrees, right? So we go in here now. What let's start with? What we starting with here? Say that again?
May I be excused, please?
Sure, no problem, Crow. 8 centimeters, there you go. I put 8 centimeters at the base here. What's that way? Again, so hold on. Okay, 8 centimeters. Y'all measure it on your compass and then draw it, please. Alright. 8 centimeters. Boom. What were the dimensions? Up here as well. P and Q again? P and Q. Right? I'll put my construction line, boy. Boom. Let's just show that we constructed it, right? Bang. Right? Boom. Right. That's ground zero, right? This is 8 centimeters. What's next? PQR is equal to 60 degrees. Dog food. P to Q. Chase, say that again.
Yeah.
All right, let me go. So, easiest thing to do here, right? What is PQR? So, 60 degrees coming here. Yeah, in this corner, that's very important. So, a little more than half. So, you do here. So, boom. That's one arc, and around where 60 degrees would be. I know 60 degrees would be somewhere around here. Right? Come in here with my sharp point, boom. Watch it come here with a sharp point, boom. Right? How you looking? Alright, watch it here. Everybody good here? Yeah, you have this? So 60 degrees here. So watch this. Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna now just draw a line, extend it, because we don't know where the other line goes and cut through this one, right? Okay, so I just extending this line. Boom. So join this here, bang, coming up here, bang. Right, leave that right there. Now we're gonna do 45 degrees in this corner. So the last angle, Q to P to R would be 45. So where's my angle gonna be? By P. Right? So let's see where P is. So in order to construct a 45-degree angle, I need to do a 90. So let's go 90 is food. You come here, boom, open it a little bit on where halfway is. You can hit let me do a full arc here now. I do not full arc here. Boom. Alright. Come with your sharp end here. 60 degrees right here. 60, boom. And then we going for 120. 60 plus 60 is 120. So here's 120, boom. And then we're gonna just gauge where 90 degrees would be, bang. And then we come in with our sharp end here. Say that again? Yeah, no, it's 45. You're gonna bust this in two, right? So I'm gonna draw right. So I'm gonna draw a temporary line here. So I'll put it in red. Because this line is not really what we're working with for the question, right? So we put in a temporary line here. So there you go. This temporary line is 90 degrees. Let me draw it in a different color. Right, boom. So watch it. We need to bisect this 90-degree angle. Bisect means to bust in two equal halves, right? So I come in with my sharp end here. Boom. And I'm going to draw one arc. You're gauging around where 45 will be, boy. Where 45 will be around here. All the estimators around here. 45, you're coming from here. Boom. Yeah, somewhere around here. Right? And then we come in with the sharp end here. And then you're drawing another arc so that these two arcs intersect. Bang. So we draw a line that lines up with this now. That would be 45 degrees, right? 45 degrees. So we go in. Boom. You all see that line up there? 45. So I'm going to draw this in blue because this is the final line we draw in here. Starting there, coming up, coming up, coming up. And I'm stopping by the first line I drew. Because that is where R would be. Right? So R is going to be right here. Oh, look at Nelson. R is going to be right here. Okay? So let me see what's the last part they asked. Go ahead.
Can we do the red arc?
5.8 again. 6, yeah. Run. If you get 6, run your 6.
So I measure
Nah, something wrong.
5.9. 5.9.
That's why I feel like off, you know. Look, mine say exactly. Mine's looking like 5.9. Yeah, I get 5.9.
Same, so I got 5.9.
Yeah, when I measured RQ, I got 5.9 centimeters. So using a ruler, pencil, a pair of compasses, and a protractor, they actually say to use a protractor for this one. So let me see how we're going to use it, right? Draw accurately a quadrilateral EFG using the following measurements, right? So the first measurement they give you here is what we will start with. We start with EF, right? So what I want you all to do, go more to the bottom of your page, right? Don't, when you draw too high up, sometimes you run into problems, right? And let me see if you all have to invert your 8 centimeters and then 4 and 4. Hey, this question in particular, they actually allowing you to use a protractor. So let me go. We're gonna draw it out. So 8, 4, and then H to E to F is 70. So yeah, E. So H should be coming. H to E to F. That's this corner. 70. You could, if you want to invert your book, you can. Right? When I say invert your book, I mean turn it sideways. Right? To get a little better. But I think I could catch it here, right? So there we go. The first,
landscape.
yeah, landscape it, right? That word landscape, right? So here what the first point we put in would be E. So I want you all to put a dot. Okay? And I want to show you all something, right? Right, so everybody was able to see that, right? Seeing it again, open your compass. Let me show them again, I want to show them. I want to make sure they're seen, man. Right. Open your compass to 8 centimeters, and then we're going to place. So this is how you do it. Boom, bang, 8, right? And then we're going to take that compass. Why I showed you all it there physically is because my app, the compass looks a little different, right? Okay? My app, the compass looks a little different. And another thing, I could open my compass to the amount of centimeters that we're looking for. So I put my sharp end there, and I'm opening my compass to 8 centimeters. So I will see 8 centimeters here. Right. So that's my 8 centimeters, okay? And then we are going to draw an arc on this side, right? Check it there. You draw an arc to the right. Let me know. So make your arc, right? I'm going through it again. Put your sharp end here. Open your compass to 8 centimeters. How do you know you get your 8 centimeters? Measure it on your ruler, like I just showed you all to. Make an arc on the other side. Take your ruler now. Draw a line from the point to that arc, right? Kiana, you get there? Right? Because I know you didn't do this last week, right? So we good. That's stage one. Now, this question in particular, they said they could use a protractor because when I look at the question, I was concerned as to why they asked us to do 125 degrees. But I think I changed on the question. I think I want to do 120 because I want a little construct something because you can't construct a 125-degree angle and a 70-degree angle also. So we'll construct the 120 and we'll just draw the 70 with our protractor, right? So let's construct 120 degrees, right? So there we go. Which corner, I didn't ask this, which corner is this angle going to be if it's E to F to G? Would it be by the E or would it be by the F? Let me hear you.
Will be by the F, sir.
Right.
Yeah, sir.
E to F to G would be located by F. Everybody good there? It would be located by F. Okay? So let's construct 120 degrees, right? How do we do this? Place your sharp end on F. You're going to open your compass. Now, where the circle dropping on the line there, right here, this is where my compass would be marking, right? So I'm telling you all, this is about halfway between E and F. Open your compass to a little more than halfway. Cool? A little more than halfway. Then you are going to draw an arc. You're going to draw an arc here so that the arc and the line intersect. Cool? You see what I'm doing there? Open your compass to a little more than the halfway point. The halfway point will be around here. It's an estimator. It's not an exact thing. So you open your compass to a little more than halfway, and then you draw an arc so that the arc and the line intersect. Do that for me first. Right? You getting it there, Kiana? You're the only one new here now. Put your sharp end on F. The sharp end. Right? Another thing I didn't tell you all. When you finish, let me use. These two, you point your sharp end, right? Your sharp end and your pencil must line up. Very important. Ensure that they line up. Okay? Make sure. And put your sharp end here. Okay? Put your sharp end here. I feel Kiana has seen it now. And then I probably show. Right. So let me go back to my app now. Okay? So we back here now. It's the same thing I did here. Now, what you're going to do is either two things. You could draw the arc going straight up to around where you estimate 120 degrees to be, or you could just put you put little strokes. But because it's 120 degrees here, what I want you all to do, continue with this arc. Go straight up to around where 120 degrees would be. 120 degrees might be somewhere around here. Just don't reach to 180 degrees. Right? This is the better route to take. So draw an arc and reach around where you estimate 120 degrees to be. For the especially new students, I'm saying it again. Lift your compass and place it where the arc and the line intersect. Do not adjust your compass. If it adjusts, put it back here and just make sure that your pencil touching this line. That's your measure, right? And lift your compass and put it here. Boom. Cool? Everybody should have that. So watch what I'm doing here. Lift your compass, put it here. Right? I'm going to draw another arc up here. This arc don't need to be long. Right? Draw one arc there. So a line coming from F going through where those two arcs intersect would be 60 degrees. But we don't want 60 degrees. We're trying to draw 120 degrees, right? 120 degrees is what we're looking for, right? So you're going to lift your compass again, place it where these two arcs intersect, and you're going to draw another arc here. Boom. Don't need to be big. Another arc right here. Cool? That 60 plus 60 is what? 120. So that line will be my 120-degree line, right? Right? So next we're going to put in FG, which will be 4 centimeters, right? So that line now would line up with F and this point here. This is 120 degrees, right? So line it up and you're drawing that line 4 centimeters long. So let me show you something what we'll do, right? It's a little trick. We're going to draw the line first and then we'll just put the arc, right? But you have to put the arc showing 4 centimeters, right? So I'm measuring it right here, so I know where to stop, right? Now, like what some teachers tell students to do, you could actually just draw the line straight if you want to make sure that it's lining up with the 120-degree point. So you draw a line straight through this, and then we're gonna draw the 4 centimeter arc. Hold on there. Take a shift. I don't like how that looks. Alright, that's I just moving these things here, right? Right, make sure the point and this point up here line up, right? Watch it here, it must go through this point. This point here must go through that point, right? Now, we need to indicate where 4 centimeters is, right? So what you're going to do to indicate where 4 centimeters is, go back to your compass and your protractor, place your sharp, well, open it to 4 centimeters. First things first. So I'm going to adjust mine to 4 centimeters here. You all know how to get your 4 centimeter arc. So you see it's 4 centimeters here, look at it right there, 4 centimeters. And I'm going to draw an arc here, boom. That is where G would be. That is where G would be. G. How much centimeters this line is? 4. Tell me, follow with me. What's next? HEF is equal to 70 degrees. Now, the fact that they told us to use, I can use a protractor, right? I'm going to actually use my protractor and measure the 70-degree part, right? So get out your protractor. My protractor looking a little weird here, like a triangle, but your protractor is a semicircle. This semicircle here. Boom, this semicircle, right? Get out your semicircle. Right. Place, you'll have a little cross at the bottom of your semicircle, right? You have your semicircle, boom, which is called a protractor. You'll see a little cross at the base here. I think it have a line going straight this way, and then it'll have a line running top to bottom. Right, that hole, right at the center of that hole is what you're putting on E. And then this baseline, so your one will look a little different, right? Put the hole on E, or the cross, the center of the cross on E, and make sure that your baseline lines up with EF. Make sure that your baseline lines up with EF. Question. Somebody have a question? Go ahead. No, that's not a question. That's somebody coming in class. Hold on. Find people come late here, boy.
Yes, it line up.
It line up proper. Everybody good there? So you're starting from 0 on the side with EF. Wherever your starting angle is 0, right? So from 0, because you see two different measures there. You'll actually see probably 180. You'll see 180 and a 0. Yeah. Start from 0 on that line and go up until you reach 60. And then I want you all to mark your 60. So you're marking your 60, because that's a little dot, boom. So mine's is 60 degrees, mine's is here. 60. You're looking for 60. Is 60 or 70? 70, yeah. I think it's 72. I get 60 from me. I saw a custom doing 60, because that's all CSEC's reaction. 60 degrees, 60 degrees.
So I just 70.
Right, so you're putting 70 here, boom. Parallel dot there, boom. And then you're moving your protractor, you pull your ruler, boom. You're going up.
Sorry, please stop again, please.
You're putting your, watch it here, sire. Put your cross on E, on the dot that represents E. make sure your baseline lines up, right? And then you're going to indicate where 70 degrees is. Well, I already did it there. Now, my protractor a little different to your own, right? So that's why I just had to adjust it. This is actually where my 70 is, right? You get that, Josiah?
Yes, sir.
I mean, Joshua, sorry. Right. Ruler. How long is that E to, what is this? E to what? So this is H to E to F. So that's how we knew that the angle was going to be located by the middle letter. E to H is 7 centimeters. So let's put 7 centimeters for the people, right? So you go and make sure these two, make sure your ruler is on these two lines, eh? Boom. And you're going up to 7. And then we'll just put a little arc after, right? That's like a little cheat code. Right?
So we're supposed to put it on?
So watch, we go in here. Start from E. You're going up. Now you could stop 7 or you could go a little beyond because you still had a jody. You had a jody arc to represent the 7 centimeters, right? So you could even go a little beyond. Right? And then you come at your sharp point here now. Open your compass. And you are going to draw an arc here. So that arc would be where 7 centimeters is. You all good there? Come, Jade. Come, Jade. Seven centimeters, right? Remove this. Put a point here and indicate what it was. HN. This is HN was E to H here.
Yes,
H is right here, and this line would be 7 centimeters. And it's a quadrilateral. So let's complete our quadrilateral, right? So one of the common mistakes students make, right, is when they draw this line, sometimes they confuse themselves with where G is and where H is. Sometimes they draw the line so. You come and you see I have a point there? They draw the line like this. Somebody mic on. I can't pinpoint who it is. Who it is, boy? Right? So you connect these two dots. That's a common mistake. But we going from H to G, eh? Please and thanks. So this is how I'm coming here. From H to G, boom. Bang. So I completed my quadrilateral. What's that quadrilateral again? How much sides it have? 4. Right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm guessing that they probably asked you to measure and state the length of each G, but we'll see what they ask, right? We go into this page here now. Measure and state in centimeters the length of GH. GH and HG, same thing, right? So let's measure it all again. Yes?
Excuse please.
Sure, no problem. Again, 8.2. 8.2 proper, boy, didn't get the same thing. 8.2. 8.2? Now we talk about, we in sync today, boy. Last week was all kind of bacchanal.
I get 8.
You get 8? Roll with your 8, bro. Using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct triangle E to F to G, with EG being 6 centimeters, FEG being 60. Pass it up now. Now it's very important to know where this angle is, right? So like just now, Dean did it on the other side, but then he realized that it was supposed to be on the left, right? So FEG means that your angle is going to be located by the middle letter. It's going to be located at E. And EGF is equal to 90 degrees. So we'll draw this last. Let me start with the first set of information they gave us. This. So I'm going to construct that line. So wait. You know what I want to do before I go there? Hold on. Right, so there we go. So we let me draw this a little closer to the base here. So we are drawing E what? E to G, right? But we're going to put E first. E to G is how much centimeters? Go to your ruler. Open your compass to 6 centimeters. Say that again?
6.
Yeah, correct. 6. Make your arc, boom. Draw a line from E to that arc, boom. You see how we flew in here? This is what I call flow, right? This is flow. So this here would be G. It was E to G, right? Yeah. Right. And this was 6 centimeters. Hey, I didn't tell you to do this, Kiana. Label 6 centimeters here. You did it? Perfect. Right. Now, E to F. No, it was F to E to G was FEG, right? F to E to G is equal to 60 degrees, right? That's what they told us. So we know that our angle is located in this corner here, right? So my angle going to be coming so to so. So in order to construct that angle, you put your sharp end here and you open your compass a little more than half. Halfway here, everybody agrees? A little more than half will be like here. Right, Mongol? You're going to make an arc from here going up to around where 60 is. 60 will be around there. You don't need to reach 90 degrees. That's 60. And around there. Do not adjust your compass. Do not adjust your compass. Hold on, people. Right, let me go. Lift your compass. Place it here. And then you're going to make another arc up here. You do that then? That is 60 degrees. Everybody good there? You did that, Kiana? Austin, talk to me. You good there? Right. Take your ruler now. Did it tell us how long that angle is? That side is, sorry. Did we get any information on E to F? No. So here we can do. Let me just draw a line. Going. You're going. Right? We're going up, and up. Right? So we actually just trying to cross around where 60 degrees is, right? Right, so we measure in here, boom. So I'm just going to around when 90 degrees would be. So coming through here, boom, boom, bang, 90 degrees is where, boy? Might be somewhere around here. Right? It don't matter where you go. When you draw your other line, when you construct 90 degrees, you just stop at this line. Right, Jade? Please and thanks. Alright? So we're going to construct 90 degrees. Pay attention. Like Kiana, this is the first time you've seen it. JD was in class online last week. So you've seen this for the first time too, right? Put your sharp end here. Boom. Right? Now, I want you to understand something about this app, right? For this app, when I make my circle smaller, wherever my circle is on the side, that's where my compass will be dropping. Watch. If I put a line, arc here now, or even if I press here, that's where my arc would be dropping, right? Watch, bro. Pull back this just a little bit. It's shaking, you think? Yeah, pull it all there a little bit. Them form fives probably push it forward a little bit. Right, let go. So you estimate where halfway is. So halfway is about here. Cool? Where the arrow is. So you're opening it a little more than half. And you're going to draw an arc going all the way around to where you estimate 120 degrees would be. Everybody good there? So stopping like here. 120 will be somewhere around here. Cool? You did it already, Tyler? Yeah. Very good. Tyler, use our next story, our success story. How much you was again when you come in my class? Something looking off? Go back here and get your measure, right? You're going here, G. Right. Lift your arc, put it here. Lift your compass, put it here. Draw this arc here, this red arc here. Well, it's red for me. That's okay. Let's make sure the two lines intersect. You're getting it to intersect? No, look at I seen it intersecting from here. It would not look exactly like mine, so now I'm seeing it intersecting from here. Right? Lift your sharp end, put it here by the new arc you just made there, and draw another arc here. That would be 120 degrees, right? This arc here, what they could do, go straight up with this arc. And make sure that that arc lines up with around where 90 degrees would be. Everybody good there? So I'm going to remove this now and make sure you're seeing this. You're supposed to have an arc here, then you're supposed to have another arc. Joining this original arc and going straight up. Right, proper. Everybody good there? Then you're going to come on this line now. On this point here. Where that arc, well, the two arcs there intersect. You good there, Kiana? Right, and you're going to make another arc here. Boom. That's a 90-degree point there that I just made. You good there, sister? You get you? You get you? We'll check it after. There you go. Draw a line here now. Watch where you're drawing the line, eh? I'm going to carry this down here. Boom. So you're taking your ruler now, and you're going to line up G and the new arc you just drew. Mine's a little off, though. Boom. That's okay. Draw it. That's how, why I going through is because this is what I constructed, so this is what I going to. So I draw the last line in red too, eh? So I'm going straight up, boom. This is where my, what would be the last vertices here? Vertices here, it would be F, F. This is where F is located. This is where F is located. So next, we want to find the length of EF and the size of angle EFG, right? So we come in here now. Write that down, eh? So you will tell me, Mikey, where you reach? You reach here?
Yeah.
You reach here? Yeah. Send this arc right up the road, Mikey. Go right up the road with this arc. Right. So you come in here now, Mikey. Put your sharp end here, Mikey. And then you join this baby arc here. You get that, Mikey? Yeah. Then you're coming from G and you're passing through this point here, Mikey. Right here.
Straight up.
Straight up to reach the first line you drew. Something had to fix. You probably just had to extend, right? So check it over. So when I measure EF, I am getting 11.4. Right? So here what we're going to do in a situation like this. Because all in real time, you wouldn't know if you're correct or if you're right. Eh? I am getting 11.4 centimeters. That's why I'm lining up with, right? So check over everything, right? Check over the 6 centimeters at the base here. Check this and make sure. Make sure it's 6. That's 6? Right. So the only thing that could throw that off is that this is not 90. Right? So check over this. Check over this and make sure this is 90 degrees. Here, it's supposed to be 90 degrees. Right? Shut up. Bad. It is 90? Ah, come in. What you getting online? Let me hear you.
So I get 12.8.
Look at man get 12.8. That what you get? So next we're gonna measure the angle, right? Which angle they were? That's all, huh? They want E to F to G. E to F to G. Okay, so that's this angle up in the corner here. I go with the blue line, eh? I go with the blue line. Right? So let me go. So what you're doing, put your circle here, line up your baseline with whatever line you have. Do that for me. Line up your baseline, and then tell me what again there. Again, 30 on the dot. 30 on the dot. Wow, that was precise. We get 30.2?
30.
I get 30. For the blue line, eh?
measure the angle. We have to, because if we just use the maths and work it out, we have to measure it.
But sister, to use the maths, that mean you had to measure here.
No, but so they gave us the angles.
Oh, yes, 60. They give us here 60 degrees. So yeah, you can just work it out. But it's cool though. It's cool. It's cool that you could actually measure it and get 30. So that means 12 and 11.8 is the correct things. Because with 11.8, I get an exact 30 also. So that variation is correct, right? So this was what? This is 11.8 centimeters. And this will be equal to 30 degrees. So yeah, you can just minus it. So we do 9, we do 10 one time, right? So the diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a rhombus PQRS with diagram PR equals to 6 centimeters and the triangle RPQ equals to 60 degrees. Using a ruler, pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct the rhombus PQRS accurately. Join Q to S, which will be the top to the bottom, measure 8 centimeters the length of QS. So everybody, we're supposed to at least get something close for this, right? So we're going. I'm going to start by constructing PR, which is 6 centimeters, right? So we started with P to R. So let me go here. P to R. Let me kind of center the pages. Right. So we have P. Okay. I'm going to put my compass here, measure it and make sure it's 6 centimeters. Open your compass to 6. Boom. Draw your arc here. Bang. Right? Draw your line here. Bang. Remember, you're constructing everything, eh? Draw your line here. Boom. Make sure you're with me. Right? So this here would be, what was Peter QN? Peter R? Right, R. Boom. Then we need to construct 60 degrees in this corner. So what I saw Dane do, right? Big up Dane. Dane came here and he just drew an arc. So remember, basically, you're supposed to draw an arc coming up here, right? And then you're supposed to come on this side now and draw another arc so that the two arcs intersect. Well, actually, I usually tell you to draw your arc halfway in between 0 and, well, the halfway point, sorry, and the full length, right? But if you just do it here, and then you come here, boom, and you do the other arc, right? This will be 60 degrees here, right? But if I do this arc coming so, and then I just extend this line, I'll get the 2 head points, right? So watch it. I come back here. I should have just draw this one time. So we go in. Coming down here, make sure the 2 arcs intersect. Right? Watch it. And it will work out. So watch it. You're coming here now. This is 60 degrees in this corner, right? This is 60 degrees here. Boom. From here to here, 60 degrees, right? That's 60. Bang. I don't understand how this thing does it. All the time I didn't understand. They usually 60 here one time. You do this? Yeah, this is the easiest way to do this. Nah, you could do it so. Right? You draw another line coming down here, boom. And then you do the same thing on the next side. So you come here now. Right, we come in here now. Hey, this was our broken line, huh? I put a solid line in the middle there. That's supposed to be a broken line. I'm gonna put some erasers on it. Shucks, but I only have a stroke eraser, boy.
是
Talk to my bro.
然后 P no yeah 然后 P 你过去巴中边别觉得你来那个 up and down 啊你看上你是
You're going up and down. I don't understand what I mean, bro. Alright. Ooh. You can't do that.
So I could send you volume because I construct mine a completely different way.
That's okay, bro. Right. This was a broken line, right? So let me put 6 centimeters here. 6 centimeters. Here is 60 degrees. Right? Yeah. Everybody good here now? So what they asked us to do, I think this was what up here was Q. Q is up here, and then down here would be S. Down here would be S, right? So I think they wanted us to measure and state the length from Q to SN. Right, so let me measure and state the length of Q to S one time. What again? Again, 10 point. What you get?
I get 11.
11. I get 10.4. Could be 10.5, you know. It look like 10.5.
I get 10.5.
Yeah, I get 10.5.
1.
10.1, check them over. Number 10 one time, using a ruler protractor, draw accurate quadrilateral. PQ is 8, QR is 4, PS is 6.5, PQR is 120, and QPS is 6. I'm going to start with PQ, which is 8 centimeters, right? So let me draw that first. Starting with 8 cm. So I'm going to do it like a little at the base here. Right? Why does others say the vertices and then I forget? Right? So you do not PQ, right? We deal with PQ. P to Q. Eight, right? How to put your construction line? So this here will be Q. This here will be 8 cm, right? We are constructing a 120 degree angle by Q or by P? By Q or by P? Q. Because you're looking at the middle letter. By Q, right? So there you go. So this will be here, right? Boom. So we're gonna make it a little smaller. Right. So I'm starting here, going straight up. We're going to a wrong way. 110 degrees will be somewhere around here. So you come in here, boom. Bang. That's 60 degrees. You all see that? Mongol, 60 degrees. Then you come in here. This will be 120 degrees. Proper? How much they said this line was gonna be? This will be Q to something. Q to R, right? Q to R is 4 centimeters. That's our stopping, right? So I'll just draw the full line and then I'll do an arc to indicate where 4 centimeters would stop, right? Cool? So I draw the line, but I need to put an arc. So you measure this on your pen, on your ruler again. Measure 4 centimeters. This thing have a glitch, you know. It has never gone 4. Alright, it's 4, eh? I don't study that 4.1, it's 4. Right? Draw an arc here to show where 4 centimeters would be. This is where R would be located. This is my R. Right? Then we need to do a 60-degree angle, I believe, in this corner here by P. So Q to P to S is 60. So let me work. Q to P to S. So P is where the angle will be located. You must open your compass a little more than halfway. Draw an arc. Coming this way to around where 60 would be. I don't need to go all the way around to 120. This is around where 60 would be, right? You're going to lift your compass. Put your sharp end there. Make your arc here. Boom. That is 60 degrees. And how long would this one be? 6.5. Boom. 6.5. There you go. Right, 6.5. So I'm stopping at 6.5 and then I'll just put my arc after. So I go in, 6.5 is here. Right? Boom. You can extend the line a little more, no problem. 6.5, 6.5. Boom. Who's that? Exactly on 6.5 there, boy. Right. 6.5 will be there. So this is where PQRS S will be located here. So we're gonna measure it now.
So
Talk to my bro.
from all right, where where start going after?
After R?
Yeah.
Like what you mean extending
What
here?
would the point on Roger?
No, once you put this point here, that's it there. R stops there.
Alright, so where's Sergeant?
Don't erase your drawing S now. Don't erase do not erase any of your construction lines, or if you extend any of the lines, don't erase it, right, Jade? So there you go. This should be boom. This would be S to R. What did they ask us to find here? Measure and state the length of RS. So what do you get for RS?
So how
RS is this line here. Semi exact?
Yes, sir.
Mine's looking like 7.1 by.
So I got 7.2.
I have 7.7.
It even looking like 7.2. I would say it's 7.2.
So can I now come back and do any question? How long is Q to R? How long is
Q to R is 4. Sorry, I didn't put in that. This was 4 centimeters, right? Sorry about that. Here was 4 centimeters. And then here was what?
6.5.
6.5.
And thank you, sir.
Okay. Using a pair of compasses and a ruler and pencil, construct a parallelogram ABCD where AB is equal to AD, which is equal to 7. It's supposed to be centimeters, I guess. Then they just put 7. Right? Centimeters. And angle BAD is 60. This is dog food. Measure and state the length of the diagonal AC. So there you go. ABAD, right? 7, 7. Let me see how we going here. Boom, bang. So I started with 7 as AB, right? So come on, look. Mash gas, we can do it. I believe in all you. Start with 7. So A to D. So I put A here, A. Right? And we AB, right? So we going on. I just measure it and then I'll put the arc, right? Boom. 7 centimeters, right? Boom. Hey, I shall just show it. So here's 7. Boom. Here's 7 centimeters, right? A to B. A to B is 7, and then what they said? A to B 7 and A to D. So A to D will be what, boy? If you go from A to B to C to D, so that's the angle on this side, right? A to D. And then it's saying BAD is 60 degrees, right? So that means the angle in this corner is 60 degrees also. So what can I do? I can measure this angle, right? I could measure this angle. I'll just go with this angle, this arc on the outside here, which is actually the more convenient thing to do sometimes, right? 60 degrees. Boom, you come there, bang, you come here, bang, bang. Right. That is 60 degrees, right? And this line measures 7 centimeters. Everybody clear there? 7 centimeters. So you come in here, 7 centimeters. Wait, right. Oh, that's why. All right, the 7. So I didn't. It goes. I don't have to put next construction line here because this arc I drew already is 7 centimeters, right? Right, Jade? So this will be 7 also. 7 centimeters. This here would be 60 degrees. And this is D. Because they said AB is equal to AD, which is 7 centimeters. Now B, if here is 7, right, and this is a parallelogram. Let me hear you. Where you know if it's a parallelogram? It means all these sides are parallel, right? Well, the pair of opposite sides or corresponding sides are parallel. So this length is equal to this length, and it's also equal. So this length is supposed to be equal to this length here, and this length here is supposed to be equal to this length up here. So they basically say that the parallelogram, all the 4 sides are the same. Now, if here is 60 degrees, right? Who could tell me what the interior, co-interior angle on this side will be? The angle on the inside here. If here is 60. 30, sure? Co-interior, we do not Sunday, angles add up to 180 degrees. So if here is 60, what the angle on this side would be? Come on. Come on. 120. Construct 120 for me. You're going 60. Right? And then you're going 120. So there we go. So I could come here. I draw it in red, right? So this will be 60 right here. Look, we passing 60. Boom. And we're going all the way down to around where 120 will be. Bang. Right? Bang. Then you come in here. Put your sharpen here. Bang. This is 60. I didn't even need to come this. This is 60 here, right? This is 60. Where these two arcs meet would be 60. And this will be 120. Bang. How long this line supposed to be now? 7. Well, look, I don't have 7 here as my measure, so good. How I got 690 here? Shifter. It's not a big shift though. Shift a little bit. Alright, I don't think I roll. Alright, it's done. Color is almost thing. Alright, boom. So there you go. Mine shift a little bit, but that's okay. So you imagine 7 centimeters here. Up there would be 7, eh? Because I draw everything with 7 centimeter arcs, right? So here would be 7. Look at measuring 7. Watch. It measuring 7. I draw this one in blue. So you're coming down here, my children. Even though we speed run this, I don't find it hard. All you find it hard? Nope. This is parallel line. Up here have parallel lines. Here would be 120 degrees. Here would be 7 centimeters. Sorry, 7 centimeters. And we connect the top now. You connect the top there. It will be 7 also, yeah. Everything lining up. Right, 7. Boom. Parallel lines here also. what our last point will be? Our last point is C. What diagonal length they want? Last part. Measure and say the length of the diagonal AC. Measure AC, please tell me all I get. I'll tell all what I get. I get 12 exact. 12 exact for me. 12 exact for me.
Yes, sir.
11.9.
11.9, we working now. Exactly equal to 12 centimeters. 12 point what? Yeah. I good.
You done?
Again we done? Olha, that was nice enough.